Where your focus goes, your energy flows. I hope you know the saying. Hey, I'm Chris, and before we get into anything, I just want to say something very simple. I really love my life. But not in a look at me way, more in a I didn't think that was possible for me kind of way. So the reality today is I live in Barcelona now, in a beautiful flat, get a look over the whole city with my partner. I walk about 4 to 6 hours a day. I go cycling, I go hiking, I have food sometimes. And yes, I eat a lot of good food. So we're proper foodies here. So that's my life today. But this was not the plan, and definitely not the reality for a long time. Because before that, I was hustling my ass off, like the majority of people out there. So I used to work in Germany, work my way up to head of department. Then I started over in Netherlands, then again in Spain, always pushing, always proving, always chasing the next step that would finally make it feel right, but never did. So what did lead to it? It led to two burnouts. One in 2012, the other one in 2018. And the second one, that one messed with my head because I wasn't even overworking anymore. You know, this wonderful saying, on paper, everything looked fine. Yeah, that was me. But internally, I was completely off. And because, well, I'm me, I try to solve it the right way, the way high performers solve everything. I opened an Excel and I started tracking everything, my energy levels, my focus, when I felt sharp, when I felt completely useless. I built sheets, patterns, correlations. And honestly, at some point, it looked like I was trying to crack the stock market with that sheet, just with my brain and the sheet. And to be fair, it really helped. I started to see the patterns, times where I was naturally more focused, moments where my energy would just drop for no obvious reason. But there's a big problem. Even with all that data, I was still stuck because I was measuring what I could see, but I was missing what actually mattered. So that's when it really clicked, actually. And at the end, I figured out it's all about how we operate day by day. So just let's jump a little bit back. In 2022, I was traveling in South America, especially in Argentina. And that time I had a really big problem with a bank over here in Spain. And I made a bold decision, not a productivity decision, not a career decision. It was in this kind, a way different one. So I decided that whatever happens externally doesn't get into control to my internal state anymore. So I made it my job, actually. And understanding, of course, how I work emotionally, mentally, energetically. Since then, I have become a bit of a neuroscience nerd. And because the more I understood how my system works, the more obvious something became. Most of us are not really exhausted because of we work too much or we do too much. We're exhausted because we waste energy in ways we don't see. And so let me say that very clearly to you. You're probably not burned out or stressed out. Many people out there feel like this. I know. I speak with them on more or less a daily basis. But the thing is, you and everyone else, you're leaking energy. Because energy is the base for everything we do. For everything. Every thought, every emotion, every action, for everything. So I see this really every single day with the people I work with the people I meet, with my friends, with my family. Smart people, capable people, high performers, none of them lazy, not unmotivated, actually doing a lot of right things, right? But the days looked like, you jump between tasks, you carry, I don't know, 17 to 1 million open loops in your head. You make decisions all day long, starting with your socks, ending with a $1 million deal at work. And even when work ends, it does not really end for you. So you're still thinking, still replying, still replaying conversations, still planning, still slightly on edge somehow. And I have been there as well. And in the beginning, it's not that dramatic. And this is actually the tricky part, because it never becomes a breakdown. It's just, I don't know, a constant low level drain. And after a while, you sit there thinking, probably I did, why does this feel so heavy when everything is actually going more or less well? So what do most people do? They try to fix things like this the logical way. They try to better plan, more discipline, more control. Basically, let me manage my life a little bit harder. So I have tried that as well in the beginning. Does not work out. And honestly, it sounds quite smart, but it does not work, because that's not where the problem actually is. The real problem is you have invisible energy leaks, things that quietly drain you, like constant mental switching, pressure you don't question anymore, or patterns you have been running for years. You don't see them. You just feel the effect of it. And that's why the whole thing is so confusing. And I get that, because from the outside, everything you're doing, it seems to be right, but something feels just off. And this is a little gap. And that's where people start doubting themselves. Because maybe you think you're not built for this. Maybe you need a break. Maybe something's wrong with you. I mean, these are alleged thoughts, right? But usually none of that is actually true. You're just solving the wrong problem. It's not about doing more. It's not even about doing less. It's about seeing clearly. So, because this is what our energy is for. Because the moment you actually see what's draining you, you stop guessing, and things get a lot simpler. So, and that's why after all these Excel sheets, after all these patterns I have seen myself, I thought that cannot be the way. And I created a tool which is called MELF. Don't judge me by the name, which is short for Mental Energy Leak Finder. Because I really got tired of people trying random fixes, tired of me trying to track everything with an Excel sheet. So, because when the real issue was never clear from the beginning how to track it really. MELF is very simple, so it helps you to understand what's actually going on in your system. And this in about 10 to 15 minutes. So you can see where your energy is leaking, what's creating pressure, and what actually needs to change first. No overthinking. No, let me try 12 new habits. And I'm a big fan of habit building. But just really clarity, because this is what we all need, clarity. And clarity is the first step to self-awareness. And this is actually then the moment where things shift. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because it starts making sense. You see your patterns, you understand your reactions, you stop pushing in the wrong direction, and instead of trying to fix everything at once, you know exactly where to start. And that changes how you work, how you think, and honestly, how you experience life. So if you recognize yourself in this, if you feel like, oh, I'm doing a lot, but it's costing me more than it should, then don't try harder. Start by looking in the right place. And if you like, use MELF. So that's my recommendation to you today. See what's actually going on within and take it from there. I hope that helps. Have a good one and talk soon.